Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started here. Hopefully we have some more folks join as we get started, but we wanted to welcome you all here for our virtual open house for the Concordia Chicago MBA program. We're thrilled that you're here to learn more about Concordia Chicago and our MBA programs. So to get started, I'd love for Beth Lewis, our admissions counselor, to introduce herself and tell you a little bit more about who she is and what her role is with the MBA programs.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, my name is Beth Lewis. Been working in higher education for almost 30 years now. Can't believe I'm old enough to say that. But I've spent about 10 years in career services. I also spent about 10 years in academics and now in admissions. Been working with Concordia and their graduate programs for the past little bit over 9 years. And MBA has been one of those programs I've been working with the entire time. So I'm here to answer any questions you have. And then if you decide to apply, help you with the admissions process, registration, everything until you get started in your program.
Great, thanks, Beth. And I'm Laura Delaney. I also work with the MBA programs here at Concordia Chicago, and I'm just here to kind of facilitate today's open house. So I think without further ado, we'd love to show you a very short video that we have that gives a little bit more background on who Concordia Chicago is and what our goals are as far as helping to facilitate your educational journey. So we'll go ahead and play that. And then Beth, I'll turn this over to you.
Down through the ages, God has called and equipped people to make a real difference in the lives of others, to lead, to heal, to stand tall. For 160 years, Concordia University Chicago has been preparing the next generation of leaders with the wisdom, faith, and values to make an impact in the world, to share the gifts God gave them and answer the call to a life fulfilled by purpose and truth, to be living examples of what it means to live with Christ at the center as we serve others. Because at CUC, we don't run away from adversity. We go towards it. We don't shrink from our faith. We lead with it. We are teachers, caregivers, and musicians, scientists, pastors, and business leaders, unshakable pillars of strength and integrity who serve a cause greater than ourselves. And the world needs us now more than ever. Learn how a degree from Concordia University Chicago can help you be the pillar the world needs to stand for something greater. The only question is, are you ready to stand tall? Down through the ages.
Okay,
Thanks,
I'll turn
Laura.
it over to you, Beth.
So just to share with you a little bit about Concordia, for those of you that are not familiar with Concordia, we are a traditional brick and mortar school, as you saw from the video, been around for a very long time, since the 1800s. We do have a lot of online programs, of course, especially at the graduate level, because that is where the need is at. But we also have some on-campus programs as well, including the MBA. We'll get into the details here shortly. But we are a traditional school. We do things in a very traditional manner, but in an online format, and we have regional accreditation. I'm happy to share with anybody who's interested the differences between regional and national, but I do encourage you to look for regional accreditation when you're looking at schools. I know national sounds that it's more prestigious and even better, but regional is the gold standard of accreditation in the United States. It's what most of the colleges that you're familiar with have. All the big universities like University of Chicago, University of Southern California, all the Ivy Leagues, Harvard, Yale, UPenn, Princeton, they all have the regional accreditation like Concordia. So that is the gold standard that you want to look for while you're looking at schools. The professors do go through special training. You know, teaching on campus is very different than teaching online. So all of the Concordia professors go through special training and get certified to teach online to make sure you're getting a good academic experience in an online format. You know, it's very important that not just in the classroom, but in online, you're challenged and have the same academic experience as the on-campus students. And we do keep classes very small. That's important. Not just in online discussions that can be very overwhelming if there's too many people to participate in, but it's making sure that professors have a manageable amount of students to handle so that you can hear back from them in a timely manner and get the assistance that you need. We do keep both our on-campus and online classes very small. On campus, of course, they're a little bit smaller because most people want online. That's the more popular route that people are going. There is, I don't know if you noticed a couple things at the top, but we do have a tuition lock guarantee, which means when you start the program, you're locked in at that same rate. So you can plan accordingly. You don't have to worry about an interruption in the middle of your program and a tuition increase that throws off your budget and your plans on how you're going to participate and finish the program, not just start the program. The curriculum is very much focused on the global impact, not just business here in the United States. It's very important that you understand that how we conduct business here in the United States has a global impact. And the professors have a real world experience. And if you're taking a finance class, of course, you want a professor that has had some experience working in the field of finance. It's not just that they meet the academic credentials and have the credits they need to teach the course, but have that experience so that you can take what you're learning in the classroom and apply it in a business setting. It is 100% online. We also have on campus. I'll explain the differences here shortly, but you can do it 100% online, asynchronous, which means there's no specific login time that you have to worry about missing. It's meant to be as flexible as possible. You have that flexibility as what time of the day you log in, so you can kind of balance your work and your family. Most people going through the program are busy working adults. And also Concordia gives you the ability to integrate your faith. A lot of schools shy away from that. As you heard in the video, Concordia doesn't do that. So you have the ability to integrate your faith, your academic excellence, of course, and then your professional experience. A lot of students coming into our graduate level programs have lots of years of experience. And it's nice to be able to see them use what they've learned in the real world and apply it in the classroom and vice versa. So some of the options with the MBA, as you can see, there's a list here of several different specializations that we do have. But in general, the MBA program has been revamped recently. So the specializations, some of them are updated and some of them are staying strong and steady. The accounting is new. It is meant for somebody who at the end goal of sitting for the CPA exam. The Illinois State CPA exam has recently changed, and Concordia is staying up with that so that students can be prepared to sit for one of the specialization areas that are required in the state of Illinois for the CPA exam. Then we also have digital marketing, finance, healthcare management, leadership and change management, and sports management. And recently they're revising the project management to make some improvements in that area. That is a specialization we've had in the past, but it's currently going under some revisions. And we'll be coming out again with some new project management courses to go along with that. And as you can see, the credit loads vary between them, but you can get done with the program in 2 years or less, depending on which specialization that you choose. So it's not too long of a program. The 4 pillars of success, as we call them, or the 4 pillars of knowledge, built into all of the business programs here at Concordia, making sure we're focusing on what's really important, and not just the accounting and finance and marketing, but how we take that information and use it wisely. Ethics and social responsibility. You'll talk in the classroom about how Christians handle different ethics and social responsibility in a business setting. Critical thinking and entrepreneurship, that's also very important, even if you don't want to open up your own business. It's important to learn about that, communications and human relations, and then global interconnectedness, which we mentioned before, about making sure you understand how your business here in the United States is affected by global businesses and vice versa. It is meant for busy adults. You take one class at a time. One class every 8 weeks gives you 2 per semester. That is a nice pace to keep you busy but not overwhelmed. So it's one class every 8 weeks, and it takes 2 years to get through if you choose one of the specializations, about 1.5 if you don't do a specialization. And we don't have any entrance exam required or prerequisites. Speaking of prerequisites, kind of jumps into the next bullet with the ACBSP accreditation. The business accreditation does have prerequisites required in order to get into a graduate level business program like an MBA. But what Concordia has done is built those into the first semester. So you don't have to worry about taking any prerequisite courses or not getting accepted because you don't have the prereqs met. And those prerequisite courses can cost thousands of dollars and delay your start because you've got to get them done before you can start the program. So the ACBSP accreditation is separate from the regional accreditation that I mentioned on the previous slide. This is additional accreditation. It's separate from the regional. That it's important we have regional. That's what allows students to use financial aid. The ACBSP accreditation only applies to business programs, so it would not apply to a human services or an education program, for example. It only applies to business programs. But it's just another feather in the cap that when you graduate, you can say you went to an ACBSP accredited school. It means we have extra standards we have to uphold, extra business standards and accreditations above what the regional requires. They have certain standards to make sure that not only are we meeting the standards in the classroom, but we're getting the good results at the other end in our business programs. If you decide to apply, of course, we need your official transcript from your bachelor's degree, 2 reference letters, and then a brief objective statement that explains why you're pursuing the program. There's no entrance exam, like I mentioned, no resumes needed, just a few documents. We do have both online and on campus. If you do on campus, you come 1 night a week because you're only taking 1 class at a time. So you only need to be on campus 1 night a week from 6 to 9:45. There are breaks built in there, but you're there for those traditional classroom discussions like we've been doing since the 1800s. If you do online, then you participate in an asynchronous style discussion board. So you will post at the beginning of the week. The professor will ask you to address certain things and post your initial post, and then you're expected to go back and forth with your classmates and respond to theirs. They'll respond to yours, similar to what you would do in a classroom setting, but you're doing it in an online discussion board. So you'll get into a routine of how often you need to log in to participate in that and make sure you're meeting all the expectations. But again, no specific time that you have to be logged in. There's no live chats. If there's a video or something that the professor wants you to watch, or they want to record themselves doing a lecture, you'll have a deadline to watch it by. You won't have to be logged in to watch it at a certain specific time. And there is new improved curriculum. We just recently revised the MBA program. I doubt you'll find too many programs out there with artificial intelligence involved in them. It's very new. Obviously, we're hearing about it all over the news, but it's now part of the curriculum. So our business students will definitely have an advantage when they graduate to having learned and earned credits in learning, so they can prove to people that they're educated and informed about how to use artificial intelligence correctly in the business setting. Also, of course, talking about data analytics. People used to dread when they'd see that statistics course, and you'd have to explain it was applied statistics, but data analytics is so much better. It's just taking that data analysis that you need and learning all the numbers and applying it in the business setting, which we all have to do in some form, manner, shape, or form.
Okay, I think we'll open up the floor for any questions that folks have. If you haven't already, there's a Q&A functionality at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to add some questions in there. I know we did receive a couple as you were talking. Let me grab some of those real quick. How long does the program take to complete?
2 years or less. If you take a specialization other than accounting, it will take you exactly 2 years. 1 class every 8 weeks, 2 per semester. And then we have 3 semesters a year. So that gives you 6 classes each year. And it'll take about 2 years. So 2 years or less.
Perfect, thank you. Let's see. Will I be supported throughout the program? And if so, how?
That's a great question. Yes, simply depending on what kind of support you need, you just have to speak up. Shoot an email out to your professor. If you need help from one of your advisors, give them a phone call or an email, and get the response. And then if you need to schedule a time to get on the phone, those are always helpful to talk things out. But sometimes just a quick email or a text even to get your question answered. But keeping those classrooms small really helps, because then the professors are able to respond to you in a timely manner and support you throughout your program.
Another one. What are the benefits of earning a general MBA versus a specialization? And what if I don't know what specialization I want to do yet?
Sure. Employers tell us there's definitely an advantage to having a specialization. The market is a little saturated with MBAs. There are thousands of people that have MBAs, and that hopefully doesn't discourage you from getting one. But it's honestly is the truth. There's a lot of people out there with MBAs. So you having a specialization will just help you stand out from everybody else who doesn't, who just has a general MBA. Having a specialization in finance it's a little bit something extra you can put on your resume to show people that you've got a specialization area. You didn't just take one finance class, you took several and now are now specialized in that area, or healthcare, things like that, just to stand out from somebody else who just has an MBA or maybe even just a bachelor's degree.
Great, that was a great question. As far as the application process goes, this question is, what makes a successful objective statement?
It's not an essay, so you don't need to write a very long one. Just as long as it takes you to explain why you're pursuing the program. The purpose of it is just simply to make sure that your goals line up with whatever program you're applying to. So usually students submit a paragraph or two. I've seen a few pages, and that's okay too, but it doesn't need to be there. It is not an essay, it's just simply a statement of why you're pursuing the degree you're applying to.
And this one also pertains to the application process, but how difficult is it to get accepted into the program?
The good thing is we don't do selective admissions, which means we're comparing you to other people, or we only want 10 students and we take the best applicants that we have in the pool. Everybody's reviewed individually. You're reviewed holistically, so not just your transcript, but also your reference letters and your objective statement, you're reviewed holistically. And as long as it looks like you're going to be successful in the program, Concordia is not a school to reject students for unnecessary reasons. The only reason a student would not be accepted is if we didn't think that they would be successful in an MBA program.
And that actually begs an interesting question. This is my question for, everyone's benefit. What makes a successful student?
Somebody who I think is just self-disciplined. Having that nice online flexibility and not having to log in a certain time is great, but it can also be to a disadvantage where you can procrastinate and say, oh, I'll just work on that tomorrow. I'll log in tomorrow. I'll look at that reading assignment tomorrow. So setting up a schedule for yourself so you don't feel overwhelmed either. Make life a lot more happy if you have a good life balance, trying to manage your schoolwork and your work and personal things going on as well. So just setting up a schedule and sticking to it, forcing yourself to read that reading when you know you need to get it done.
Great. There's one more question here. This one's actually really good. What is the coursework comprised of? Is it just video lectures, discussion boards? What could I expect?
It can be a combination of whatever the professor feels is necessary to meet the objectives, but it's mostly going to be that discussion board every week that replaces coming to campus. You'll have assignments that are due. You'll know when they're due, so you can get them uploaded by the deadline. And then if there's assessments you need to take, you have a certain deadline that you need to take those by, and they're done in an honor system because they're done online, of course. And then if there's anything else that the professor wants you to read, or a video they want you to watch, or if they do want to do a lecture so that you can listen to it, you'll know when you have to have that done and either watch the video or the lecture and have all that completed by.
That seems it for questions. I think we'll wait just a moment to see if anyone else has any other questions. But in the meantime, you see on our slide here, Beth's contact information. We encourage you to get in touch with Beth, schedule a one-on-one appointment with her to get some more information, to maybe alleviate some of your fears or trepidations that you have about the program. We're happy to help with that. So I encourage you to get in touch with Beth and schedule that appointment, and we'd be happy to help you. Well, that looks like it. We want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the questions, and we wish you the best with your educational journey. And please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if we can support you. So thank you very much, everyone.